political scientists and computer experts. It's your boy here, Thor Hansen, and welcome back to another political science video. Today we're doing a viewer requested video about the political compass test. This was second place in the poll that I said about democratic socialism versus the political compass test. So I'm here to deliver. Let's get started. This, fair warning, will be an opinion video. One of my rare videos that I do that's opinionated. So you're going to see some of my personal biases come out, and that's just the way that it is. I will try to be as factual as I can, but you are going to see my opinions come out in this video in the way that I actually think, which is different from my previous political science videos, which were all factual. So just as a fair warning, if you get offended easily, turn back now, because this is an opinion video, and I just wanted to put that out there. So let's get started. Page 1 of 6. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. Absolutely. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. No. I would not support my country whether it was right or wrong, because our country is based on oligarchical capitalism and hostilities with our military and imperialism. I do not support our country. No one chooses their country at birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. Absolutely. I am against nationalism. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. It does not. All people are equal, especially women. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'd say so, yeah. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. That's a hard one. I'm going to put disagree on that one. Actually, strongly disagree. There's now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Absolutely. Now the economy, we're talking attitudes here, not the FTSE index. People are ultimately divided more by class and nationality. Absolutely. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. No. If you have a bunch of unemployed people that don't have work, but inflation is controlled, it doesn't really benefit anyone, so strongly disagree. Controlling unemployment is much more important than controlling inflation, especially wages that should keep up with inflation. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation. Absolutely, we need more regulations. From each according to his ability to each according to his needs, which is the fundamental principle of Karl Marx in German. Jeder nach seinen Fähigkeiten, jeder nach seinen Bedürfnissen is a fundamentally good idea. That is true. I support that. The freer the market, the freer the people. No. The freer the market, the more unregulated the market is, and the more power that corporations and billionaires have over our economics and our government. So, no, we need more regulations. I strongly disagree with that. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled branded consumer product. Absolutely. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. I absolutely agree with that. Land belongs to everyone, and the resources on that land also belong to everyone. They belong to the people, not corporations and not private individuals. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society. Absolutely. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. Protectionism is always necessary in trade, so I strongly agree with that. Protectionism is good because it requires people to buy from things that are sourced locally rather than internationally, and it encourages local economies to thrive. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. No. The social responsibility of a company should be to protect the environment and pay its employees a living wage. So, no, I strongly disagree with that. The rich are too highly taxed. This is a funny one. No, the rich are not taxed enough. I strongly disagree with that. They own 70% of the wealth. They need to be paying 70% of the taxes. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care. No. Healthcare is a human right, and it's a public service that should be available to everyone. No one should be bankrupted by medical costs, and no one should be able to receive higher standards of medical care due to the size of their bank account, pre-existing conditions, or ability to pay. Government should penalize businesses that mislead the public. Absolutely. They should be fined or completely shut down by misleading the public. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Absolutely. Now let's look at some of your personal social values. Abortion when a woman's life is not threatened should always be illegal. I strongly disagree with that. I'm a feminist. Women should have the right to control their own bodies, and that shouldn't be persuaded by politicians or religious groups. It's a woman's decision to do what she wants with her own body, and no one should be able to take that right away from her. All authority should be questioned. I disagree with this, but I do think that authority should be questioned. But if it's the authority of PhD holders and scientists, I don't think they should be questioned, and I think people should just follow what they say. So I'm going to disagree with that. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Absolutely. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. Absolutely. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. I disagree with that. Classroom attendance should be compulsory, and it should be illegal to drop out of primary school and college. And once you start, you should have to finish. I strongly disagree with that. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people keep to their own kind. I strongly disagree with that. People should be able to mingle with each other, and they should be able to be open. Good parents have to spank their children sometimes. Absolutely. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. It is natural, but it's not recommended. So I'm going to put agree on that one. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. I do think that drugs such as marijuana, magic mushrooms, and LSD should be legalized and should not be a criminal offense. I would not personally use them. I prefer people to be clean and think that clean, sober living in terms of drugs is a good thing and should be promoted. But possessing marijuana, magic mushrooms, and LSD should not be a criminal offense. So I agree with that. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. Absolutely. And college should guarantee people well-paying jobs, especially if we're going to keep charging people for college, because you go to college, you can't find a job, and then you're saddled with a bunch of debt working a minimum wage job. That's not fair. College should guarantee good-paying jobs, and corporations should be required by law to hire college graduates that are in that field of study, of the job that they're trying to get a job in. People with serious inheritable diseases should not be allowed to reproduce. That's a tough one. Even though I do agree with eugenics, which that's what this question is asking about, slightly, I do slightly agree with eugenics. I'm actually pretty neutral on this one. But I'm going to say agree. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. Absolutely. There is no savage and civilized peoples, only different cultures. Yes, that's true. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. I strongly disagree with that. Everybody deserves the right to live, but everybody should be working if they can, and they just need to find the right fit for them. That's just the way it is. But I do think that under a ideal utopian society, that there should be a 0% unemployment rate, and everybody should be working, and everybody should be working the job that best fits their needs. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Absolutely. First-generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within the new country. That's a tough one. I do think they can be fully integrated if they learn English and the cultural aspects of society. But so I'm going to say disagree on that one. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us? No. What's good for corporations and billionaires is not good for all of us. What's good for the people is ultimately good for all of us. Things that limit the power of corporations and billionaires is what's good for all of us. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. Absolutely. Page 4 is 6, and how you see the wider society. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. I disagree with that. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a political system. Absolutely. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Absolutely. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. I support capital punishment for the most serious of crimes. Absolutely. Those crimes specifically, murder, rape, and pedophilia, should be heavily criminalized, and it should not be the duty of the taxpayer to keep these people alive in prison for the rest of their lives. They should either be executed with capital punishment, or we should be keeping these people alive to be used for organ harvesting, for people that are on organ donor lists for years at a time, and it would help these people that have done deplorable things give back to society and actually do their part. So that's going to sound really controversial, but that's what I think, and I'm supposed to be honest with this test, so that's just the way it is. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. Absolutely. The people that are above to be obeyed and the people that are below to be commanded, it should be the most intelligent people above that are making all the laws, and the unintelligent that are following, as the intelligent know best. And that's just the way that it is. I am a supporter of the idea of a technocracy government where only PhD holders are allowed to be in the government, and those people should be the ones that are commanding society, and everybody should trust them and not question what they have to say because they know better. And I think that PhD holders are people that need to be promoted, and they would do a much better job running the government than our corporate controlled bureaucrats we currently have. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Absolutely. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. I strongly disagree with that. The criminal justice system should be based on rehabilitation, even though I have said that some criminals can't be rehabilitated. Rehabilitation should be the ultimate goal, and we need to have a complete overhaul on our prison system. More specifically, we need to ban private prisons, because private prisons literally profit off of people being locked up in cages like animals, and that's morally wrong. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. I agree with that. I strongly agree with that. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Absolutely. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be a homemaker. No. Women are equal to men, and women should be able to have careers and be mothers at the same time. They should be able to decide their own lives, and it shouldn't be up to a man or the government to decide what they can and can't do. Almost all politicians promise economic growth, but we should heed the warnings of climate science that growth is detrimental to our efforts to curb global warming. Absolutely. Growth is detrimental to our effects to curb global warming, and the environment should be the first priority, no matter what. Climate change is the greatest existential threat that humanity faces, and we must do everything we can to stop it. Everything we can to use green energy, everything we can to convert cars to running off of being electric vehicles and running off of biofuels or hybrid vehicles or even plug-in hybrids. And we should do everything we can to reduce our carbon emissions. I strongly support the idea of a carbon tax at $100 a ton per carbon emitted, and that is one of the only ways that I see that we can combat climate change is with a carbon tax and very strict regulations on corporations. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. No. People shouldn't be forced to conform. They really shouldn't. It destroys individuality, forcing people to conform. Page 5 of 6. If you got through that okay, you'll find these propositions on religion a breeze. Astrology accurately explains many things. Astrology is pure bullshit. The head of the astronomy department at Harvard University literally came out in 2012, and that was his exact words. Astrology is bullshit. That's one of the stupid things that has come back into society over the past decade is astrology, which it's an outdated medieval concept that needs to die, and we need to focus more on science instead of on fairy tales and things that are literally pseudoscience. You cannot be moral without being religious. Strongly disagree. Plenty of atheists and agnostics are moral, good people, and I would argue that they are more moral than religious people, especially those who support Trump. I have morals, and I know what is morally right and morally wrong. Even though I argue that morality is completely subjective, there is no objective morality. Morality is based on the overall opinions and attitudes of society, and that's ultimately what determines what is right and wrong. There is no such thing as objective morality that religion tells you, which sounds hypocritical, but there are certain things such as rape, pedophilia, and murder that are objectively wrong, but a lot of things are very subjective in terms of morality. Charity is better than Social Security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. Strongly disagree. We need more social welfare programs to help the genuinely disadvantaged, such as the minimum wage is a living wage, Social Security, state housing, unemployment, things like that. Some people are naturally unlucky. I actually do agree with this. Some people are lucky and others are not. That's just the way life is. It's important that my child's school instills religious values. This is asking about a theocracy. I strongly disagree with that. Children should not have religious values instilled in schools, especially ones that receive public funding or accept vouchers. It's wrong to me to have schools teaching creationism and religious values, even private schools. The state should regulate all schools, including private schools, to be secular places of learning. A school is not a church. The purpose of education is to equip people for the future to find good paying jobs, not to instill religious values. It very much upsets me and makes me absolutely furious that there are schools that accept vouchers, which is taxpayer money, that teach creationism in place of evolution. Evolution should be the only system taught in schools, and it should be mandatory that all students accept evolution as a requirement to graduate both secondary school and from university. Finally, a look at sex. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Strongly disagree. That's a religious idea, and it's complete bullshit. Sex outside marriage is never immoral, and people should be able to have sex with whoever they want, and it should not be the business of the state. The same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. I strongly agree with that because it should not be the duty of the state to tell a same-sex couple if they can't adopt children. If they want to adopt children, they should be able to, as long as they can financially support it. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. Absolutely. It's a freedom thing. Even though I am slightly authoritarian, I do think that pornography should be illegal for consenting adults, for the whole adult population. Some people might want to use it, others might not. That's your personal decision. I feel the same way about it as I feel about legalizing drugs such as marijuana, LSD, and magic mushrooms. If you want to use it, that's fine. If you don't want to use it, that's fine too. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. Absolutely. The state should not regulate what people do in their private bedrooms between consenting adults. No one can feel naturally homosexual. That's not true. Homosexuality is not a choice. It's the way that you're born. It's just the way that it is. And conservatives who think that homosexuality is a choice don't know what they're talking about. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. I actually agree with that. It's gone too far, but it's also a good thing, so I'm going to put disagree on that. All right, let's see my results. Okay. All right. It's about right. I sit on the I am pretty much right of center. Left of center in the way that I think. I am indeed a socialist. That's what this far on the left scale says. But I do think that people should have at least a little bit of freedom to choose. So that's where we sit. Yeah, so I'm a socialist, and that's what I wanted to tell you guys, and that was the whole idea of this video. And there's going to be a part 2 of this video that I'm going to make that is about the political compass and analyzing exactly what this means. There's a lot of things right here. Towards the middle right here, this is liberalism. This way to the right, this is progressivism right here. That's what the liberals are trying to do, be progressive. This towards the right is ultra-capitalism. Down here, libertarian capitalism. Right up here in the center of the authoritarian right, that's conservatism. Here in the middle, authoritarianism. Up here towards the top, that's nationalism. Up here, right up here, that's fascism, authoritarian right. That's where Trump and Hitler are. Religious fundamentalism, which is where a lot of conservatives are, is right here. Traditionalism, about right here. Let's go to the left now. Where most progressives sit that support Bernie Sanders, they're going to be in this spot right here with social democratism. I sit right here in this fact right here. Democratic socialism is where I sit according to this chart, even though I am a self-identifying socialist. Socialist is right here to about right here. Communism is about right here. National communism right here. Totalitarianism right here. National socialism right here. Statism about right here. And going on the more libertarian side, down here, left libertarianism. In the down middle, that's activism. Down here, syndicalism, anarcho-socialism, anarcho-collectivism, anarcho-communism, mutualism down here, ultra-anarchism down here. Anarchy is this whole section right here on the bottom is a form of anarchy. Anarcho-capitalism is over here, and libertarianism is over here because they still support capitalism, but they think that things should be unregulated. So right here. I hope that explained things. And now you know where I sit. And this has been Thor Hansen with a political science video with a political compass. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love to hear your feedback. And thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.